Hello, everyone, and welcome to Trial TV Live. I am the Squeegee of Justice. Appreciate you joining me today for day 9 of California versus Monica Sementilli. And let's see who is with us today. We've got Baca of 3. Thank you for joining us. Dream Landry, Shirley Roth. Hello, hello. Krista Limited Edition. Great to see you. Hey, Mona. How are you? Hopefully Clark Kent won't be on all day. All right. Yeah. Let's see. Hola. Good to see you. Irish Amy. Gina Farley. Thank you guys for joining us. Debbie Blair. Good to see you. Excuse me. Widespread Panic. Hey, how are you? And the wedding. Yes. Congratulations to you and your daughter. Only Fan, good to see you again. All right. Was this morning Megan? Yes, I was at an assessment and missed it. I keep calling her Morgan. Yes. So we did day 2 morning this morning, which was actually yesterday. And then now we're picking up live with Monica. Julia's ready. All right, cool. And then tomorrow, which is Saturday, we'll do we'll do afternoon, day 2, and then all of day 3 for Megan. All right, well, let's get to Monica. Court is actually live. Yep, court is actually live, and let us get to them. So I'll make sure my audio is still okay with the switchover. All right, let's get to I just want to make sure my audio is still okay. Yep, court is actually live. Okay, cool. All right, let's get to it.
Council present, jury, and also present. Good morning. Let me give you a little heads up on some scheduling for the next week. This is to remind you, we're going to be in session Monday and Tuesday. Wednesday is a judicial holiday. Thursday and Friday we will be dark, and the following Monday is a judicial holiday. What a great job, huh? Anyway, we're taking only 2 days off of court work. The others are holidays, and so we will not be in session those days. I'll remind you again next week, but you can start making your plans now. Mr. Gibson, you're still under oath, and Mr. Jones, you may continue.
Thank you, Your Honor. Good morning, Mr. Gibson.
Good morning.
Just wanted to recap where we left off yesterday. At the end of yesterday, do you remember we looked at that "I'm so sorry" text that was received on Monica Sementilli's device?
Yes.
Then we looked at the AT&T records, and those confirmed that the day after Fabio Sementilli was killed, so on January 24th, in the afternoon at 2:05 p.m., Robert Baker sent a text to Monica Sementilli that said, "I'm so sorry."
Yes.
Okay. I'd want to move on to IDMSS. Do you mind if we go to slide 61?
Thank you.
IDMSS, just to recap, that is an app you can use to view home surveillance cameras remotely on your phone. Is that right?
Yes, that's how it's advertised.
And what we see here are these screenshots you took.
Yes.
So these are screenshots you took of, is this where you can download IDMSS Lite?
You can download it on the App Store or the iTunes Store. I believe that you can download this application on a computer.
Okay. And here, this is a screenshot that's taken March 29th, 2018, so over a year after the killing took place.
Correct.
And this is something that wasn't found on anyone's device. You took this yourself.
Well, I'm going to object. That calls for speculation. It also misstates the evidence as to the defendant's phone.
This is a
This is a screenshot. This slide is a screenshot you took, though.
correct.
We go to the next slide. Go to the next slide, actually. Here, this is, again, another screenshot that you took.
Yes.
This gives details of the app, correct?
Correct.
And here it has the release date, October 9th, 2017. See that?
Yes.
So this is obviously after January 23rd, 2017, correct?
Yes.
So all the details here are relating to a later version, right?
Correct.
So not the version that would have been in use at the time of January 23rd, 2017, right?
Correct.
Okay. You go to the next slide, please. And the next slide. The next slide, sorry. And again, this is a screenshot you took of the publisher's website, right?
Correct.
And the next slide. Okay, now this is something that was found from the extraction of Monica Sementilli's device, right? 119.
Yes.
These are the log entries, and again, you filtered by IDMSS, right?
Correct. There's 4,234 log entries that were parsed out. These are the filtered log entries for IDMSS.
And what we see here are 7 entries for IDMSS, right?
Correct.
And they show the earliest one is June 30th, 2016.
Correct, at 9:51 a.m.
Just looking at the dates, just for the time being. And we have July 18th, another entry for IDMSS on Monica's phone, correct?
Correct.
August 7th, right?
Correct.
August 10th,
Yes.
September 14th,
Yes.
and November 10th.
Yes.
And then we have January 23rd, right?
Yes.
So for about a 6-month period, there's roughly an entry every month or so. I know there's 2 in August, and there's not one in October or December. But there are in June, July, August, September, and November, right?
Correct. 7 log entries during that time frame.
Okay. I think you testified earlier, but correct me if I'm misremembering. These log entries obviously give it a time, right?
Correct.
They give a date.
Yes.
But from this log entry table alone, you can't say what the app was doing or how the app was being used, right?
Correct.
We would need more information.
Yes.
And is it right that without more information, you couldn't say what that timestamp necessarily represents?
This timestamp was for that log entry. So that log entry was created at that date and time, and that's all you can say about that log entry from the
That's all you can
screenshot.
say, that a log
Correct.
entry was created on that day and that time.
Correct.
Okay. we go to slide 142, please? Here we have an item found on Monica Sementilli's device, 119.
Correct.
And you spoke in your testimony previously about this. It appears to be a screenshot of an email from Jean Parchow to Monica Sementilli. You see that on the right?
It's a picture of email correspondence. I wouldn't say it's a screenshot.
Okay. And that email correspondence talks about insurance. You see that?
Yes.
Okay. Get the next slide, please. Sorry, next slide. And then we have here an MMS message. You described this. This means a multimedia service message. Is that right? Have I got that right?
Yes.
Okay. And this is where you send it's images, for example, not just text.
Yes, pictures, multimedia, pictures, videos.
Okay. And here we have an image being sent from Monica Sementilli's device, correct?
Correct.
That image is 9926. That's the same image we saw in the previous slide, the email with the insurance.
Correct.
But we don't see from this data who that is sent to.
Correct. Not from this particular slide.
Right. We just don't have that data here. Isn't it true, though, that sometimes you can look at other data to give you some context as to where something might have been sent? For example, looking at messages before or after.
Yeah. So if you look at the source file, the path leads to a sms.db database, and that's where all this information is being pulled from. So you can verify and authenticate the information that's being displayed in that database.
Okay. Well, just want to show you some other reference of mine. I have here 2 pages from Monica Sementilli's Sally Bright data extraction. One is in relation to time of activity, and one is text correspondence. Primary markers. Defense Exhibit 607.
Yes.
Yes. Mr. Gibson, I know you would have been marked as Defense Exhibit 607. See that? Does this appear to you to be an extract from Monica Sementilli's phone extraction dealing with the timer, showing various items on the timer of her phone activity?
Yes.
Right. Now we see here, do you see this call log entry? Showing an outgoing call?
Yes.
Right. And that's June 7th, 2017, 2:17 p.m. See that?
Yes.
And this is to Marco Lorenti. See that?
Yes.
And here it says duration of 2 seconds. That would indicate potentially a missed call or a very short call. Is that right?
It's a 2-second phone call entry.
Right. The next entry immediately afterwards we see is an outgoing message, 2:26:02 p.m. See that on the same day?
Correct.
From the owner, so from Monica Sementilli.
Mm-hmm.
And this is has the path, and it has that same image 9926.jpg. See that?
Yes.
We can go back. Oh, I'm sorry. Go back to that slide.
Which slide? You have it.
Perfect, thank you. Is this the same entry?
Yes. If you looked at your timeline,
Yeah.
it said empty file, and that's how the program is visual. So empty file, the red font,
Yes.
right there. So it's just a naming reference to the file. And so that's indicating that it's an empty file and it's not in that, it's empty.
So this is the entry on this data extraction timeline for that slide we're looking at.
Correct, for that path.
Okay. And then immediately after, we see an incoming message from Marco Lorenti to Monica saying, this is good news.
Correct.
Okay, so just to recap, we have an outgoing call from Monica to Marco Lorenti at 2:17 p.m., right?
Correct.
Then we have Monica sending that screenshot, or sorry, that image of that email to someone at 2:26 p.m., correct?
Correct.
And then we have Marco 3 minutes later replying saying, this is good news, right?
Correct.
But would it then appear to you from these records that she sent that image to Marco Lorenti?
That would be an assumption just based on this, because if you look at the date and times, if that's the conclusion and argument, that's fine. But just based on this, I can't say that because that entry is not there. If it's not there, you can't. I'm not going to say that it happened for sure. You can make that inference if you desire, but there's nothing on the record to show that that record or that picture went to that person.
Understood. Would it be consistent with that?
Yes.
Right. Let's look at one message down. Here, there's an outgoing message from Monica Sementilli to an Anna with that number.
Yes.
2:38 p.m., correct?
Correct.
Now this attaches the same image file, right? 9926.
Yes.
And with the text accompanying it, Monica crossing my fingers, right?
Yes.
I have here, do you recognize this as this same text? It's just in a different visual form. This comes from a different part of the cellular extraction, right?
I'm
Yeah.
sorry, Council. I don't know what this is.
It's not marked.
This is page 2 of
607?
607.
Very
Right?
good.
I'm sorry, I should have been clear. I'm showing you page 2 of the Defense Exhibit 607. And this is the same text, correct? It's just in a different visual form.
It's the same picture, different text message.
I mean,
Oh,
this text message
Sorry.
says, crossing
Yes.
my fingers.
same message.
And here there's actually a thumbnail. I'm not expecting you to see that, but that is a thumbnail for that image. 9926.
It's the same picture.
Right. From this, though, you can definitively say that this is Monica Sementilli sending that image of the email talking about insurance to that phone number, Anna.
Yes.
One moment, Your Honour, if you don't mind. Thank you. No further questions.
Reader up.
Very briefly. In terms of the message, let's say the image file. There we go. You also don't know whether she sent that image to other individuals that might appear on their devices. Would that be fair to say?
That's correct.
I want to go back to Council, can I have your 606, please? showing me a copy of 606. Highlighted. Yesterday, you were asked whether there appeared to be, although there was information, I believe you said, regarding the sender missing from the Celebrite extraction. You were shown these phone records showing that it appeared that message regarding sorry was sent to the defendant's cell phone ending in 4213, from Robert Baker's cell phone ending in 1093. Do you recall that?
Yes.
And it was adjusted for yesterday for, I believe you said, for California time, making it 2:05 in the afternoon, correct?
Not if it's 22:05 in January. You have to subtract 8 hours from 2:05. Sorry.
That's okay. Just before that, do we see at 2:02, it looks like, and 33 seconds, 2 messages that are sent from the defendant's cell phone to Robert Baker's?
Yes.
So that would indicate that the message that you were asked about yesterday was consistent with being a response from the prior 2 messages the defendant sent to him, correct?
Objections, speculations, as well.
I asked whether it was consistent with. Is there a 2 messages that precede the one from Baker to the defendant that go from the defendant to Baker?
There are 2 entries at 22:02:33 from Monica's device to Mr. Baker's device.
And given that those 2 messages do not appear in the Celebrite extraction, would that be consistent with the defendant deleting those messages, perhaps from her phone?
Yes.
I have nothing further.
Anything further?
Nothing really.
Thank you, Mr. Gibson. You're excused. Please may call the next witness.
People call David Diaz.
Face me and raise your right hand, please. Do you solemnly state the testimony you may give in the cause now pending before this court shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Thank you. Please have a seat in the witness stand. Adjust the microphone so that we can hear you, and for the record, say and spell your first and last name, please.
First name is David, last name Diaz, D-A-V-I-D, D-I-A-S.
Thank you. Mr. Diaz, are you currently employed?
I am not. I'm retired.
Where are you retired from?
Retired from Procter & Gamble, Cody, and living in Canada right now.
Okay. The jury's heard some background on those 3 companies. Can you tell us what your role was with Procter & Gamble?
In the latest role with Procter & Gamble, when I moved to the U.S., I was head of trade marketing here in Los Angeles at our Woodland Hills office. And then as Procter & Gamble divested in 2016, I kept a similar role with Cody and became a VP of sales for the company and led the integration work between the 2 companies.
During your times first with Procter & Gamble, did you work with Fabio Sementilli?
I did. So in Canada, I was the first Procter & Gamble employee that got transferred to the Wella division. It was an acquisition that Procter & Gamble had done, and so I transitioned September 2006 to assume the leadership role for the Canadian division.
So Procter & Gamble acquired or bought Wella?
Wella, correct.
Okay.
And then I met Fabio sometime that September in 2006.
Do you know what Fabio was doing around that time before he came on board?
He owned a salon with his sister, but for the Wella company, he had been what we would have called an independent contractor, top stylist, platform artist for the company, and did education to the stylist community on a contract basis.
Okay, and then if you could explain, as you were starting to say, how he came on board.
So when I came on board, the person that I was assuming the role from, Joe Iannuzzi, had said to me, "Dave, we've got this stylist. I think he'd like to change careers and join the company, but it's going to be your decision as you get to know him if he's the right person for you, because you're going to be taking over the business." And so as I got to know Fabio through 2006 and into 2007, we had discussions about him coming on as a permanent employee to lead our education team.
And then what happened after that?
After that, he did a fantastic job. We learned a lot from each other because I was more of a corporate guy and he was an artistic mind and very passionate about the industry, so he taught me that part of the business. And I tried to teach the business side of the role that was important that he was walking into as well. And through that time, he then became, with my boss in Los Angeles, a candidate for promotion that we had our eye on to have him transferred to the U.S. And so I believe it's sometime in 2010, I had the discussion with him about this opportunity, and it would be great for his career and to continue to grow his business side for the business as well, but play a bigger role with the stylist community in North America.
Subsequent to that, did you go to dinner with him and his wife in order to discuss this possible move to the United States?
Yes. For Fabio, he said that getting Monica on board to this move for him, for this career move, was going to be very important because he wouldn't do it otherwise. He felt that she was very close to her family, her sisters, parents, and this would be a difficult move for her to possibly go, but she would need to understand what was involved in that. So we arranged to take Fabio and Monica, so myself, Ruben Carranza, my boss from Los Angeles, out for dinner, and for me to help explain to Monica what it's like to do a transfer to the U.S.
If I could interrupt you, you're referring to someone by the name of Monica. Do you see that person in court?
I do.
Can you please identify where that person is sitting and what that person is wearing?
At the end of the desk in a black jacket.
And just for time frame, what time frame is this around when you go to dinner?
It was, I have to believe, late winter, spring maybe of 2010. It was before a decision had to be made to move, and I think they made the move in the summer of 2010, so it was in around that time.
During this dinner then, what did you discuss as far as any company benefits?
I explained to her, again, from my personal experience moving to the U.S. the first time, the company, very, very generous. They try to make it very easy on the family and with awareness what is needed for a spouse as well, so they would handle all the move for the costs. There'd be housing subsidy, early on to rent. There'd be a purchase plan. If they chose to buy a house, there'd be some support for that. There'd be the opportunity for Fabio for greater opportunity for growth in his career as well as it did for me, and that would mean more in stock options that would be available one day should he climb to the next level. Income support to buy a car, as a interest-free loan to do that. There was spousal support if they want to do an education program, as well, because it was very important that the whole family was looked after and felt comfortable, because that would then enable, us, the transferee, to do well at our job if we felt that everything was stress-free of the things that are controlled.
So based on after that dinner, did the Sementillis then agree to relocate to Woodland Hills?
They did, yes.
And when was that?
I believe the physical move may have been summer of 2010, but it was sometime in 2010.
Okay. 1 moment. Okay, so after they after they moved to Woodland Hills, what was your relationship then with both the defendant and Ms. Fabio Sementilli?
Mine was, so I remained in Canada as a Canadian leader. So Fabio I would see at company meetings, but we'd also dialogue quite a bit. So he'd reach out to me to continue this, what do I do, almost like a mentor point of view of things as he tried to adjust to a bigger world and I guess more people with their fingers in the pie as he was trying to set himself up for success in there as well. Other than that, with Fabio and Monica, there'd be the odd dinner when I'd come to town. I visited them at their home that they were renting in Woodland Hills, I think was at the time, and have dinner at their place or just a meet-up. Or we'd see each other at company events, Trendsetters, which was our reward recognition piece as well. We would see each other then. But then I moved away to Australia, but Fabio and I at that point in time then just stayed in touch over career and personal stuff.
So were you his boss then, or did he report to you officially within the chain of command?
When he was in Canada, yes. Not in the U.S.
Okay. All right. Now I want to get to the time frame shortly before Fabio was killed. Were you out in LA for any reason to see him?
I was living in LA.
Okay.
I was working because then I came back from Australia, I believe it was 2014, and remained until 2018. So I was already there for close to 2 years before he was killed.
Okay, so let's talk about the week or so before he was killed. Did you see him?
I did. I was invited over for, I think, lunch on a Saturday or a Sunday. I think it was the Sunday, to their place. I was in town alone. My wife was back in Canada.
When you say their place, was it their home on Queen Victoria?
On Queen Victoria, yes.
Okay.
That was their home.
When you went to lunch, was the defendant and Fabio both there?
Yes.
Okay, what did you do?
I think we had pizza, chit-chat, and then, Fabio took me to the garage and showed me a car that he got that I didn't know that he got. It was a Porsche, and then he took me out for a ride.
Okay, and what happened during that ride?
We talked a lot about the car, and I said, well, when did you get this? And I think he said around Christmas. And I said, wow, this is a really nice car. And then he went on to say, Monica wasn't happy when I brought it home because I didn't tell her I bought it, and just brought it home. And then we talked a little bit about career stuff as well that we had started before Christmas. So he'd always take the opportunity to pick my brain on some things that he was thinking about.
After that visit, then, that was around, did you say January
15th,
okay.
I think. Yeah.
Did you see him again before he was killed?
I probably would have seen him just at the office earlier in that week, but then I went back to Canada for the following weekend, and then came back the Monday, the 23rd.
During that time frame, the week before, did you notice anything unusual about the relationship between the defendant and Fabio that caught your attention?
Overruled.
Objection, relevance.
So I'd always seen them as a very, over the years, from 2007 on, very loving couple, happy. It just seemed a little different, to me. There was a little cold. There was, his comment about, what happened when he bought the car, and then he started talking about and asking for my advice about going back home to Canada, and would the company ever consider him taking over the country manager's job in Canada.
So during the week before he was killed, he asked you about going back to Canada?
Yes.
Okay. Did he elaborate why he wanted to go back?
He started talking about, he said it would probably be good for the family, is what he said, for the girls, for Monica. And he brought it up slightly before Christmas, and then brought it up again. And I said, Fab, this is very different, that you're being serious about this. And as he explained, that he wouldn't elaborate, he just said it'd be good for the family. I said, well, that's a big step back, right? So you had ambitions to move to Geneva. So I was just trying to figure out where his mindset was, and one day becoming the global education guy. And he said, that's going to be hard. As much as it'd be great, that's going to be hard for me to pull off. But maybe I would consider taking a level down, for that. And I said, well, if you're asking my opinion, would the company, said if there's one person in this type of work as a head educator that could pull off a country manager's job, it'd probably be you, with the experience that you've now had in the U.S. But you just need to understand some of the things that you have today, you won't have financially in the company in the level down. Because when I left Canada for Australia, they re-leveled the role down and made it a more integrated part of the North American business, but required a lower level leader.
Prior to this conversation, then, a week before he was killed, had he ever talked to you about moving the family back to Canada? No, it was just around that time, just before Christmas, and then when I came back and we were driving in the car, and it was the first time that he'd only ever talked about Geneva prior to that. Were any of these conversations in front of Monica, the defendant? No, they were always private conversations with me as call it bounce off what he was thinking and what I would think would happen within the company. Now, you talked about Christmas. What was the conversation back before 2016 Christmas time? Yeah, so he brought up this thing about Canada, before, but he never really elaborated on the why, right? And he just asked about the opportunities back in back in Canada. And it said, lots of things have changed. He's seen it change, since I left. But it was the first time that he ever brought that up, because he's only ever talked about Geneva. But after Christmas, in the new year, is when he opened up that he seriously wanted to consider that. And he said he thought it would be good for his family? Yeah, that was the whole driver for it, because he was a very ambitious
an extremely talented, individual, and I think the whole company saw that, including the leaders in Geneva, people that I interacted with as well, because when we talked about the move to the U.S., he was identified as an individual that he was going to step in and then step very quickly into the full education leader job, which he did. And he learned very well. He was a great learner and wanted to learn the business side while keeping true to the creative stylist side of the business.
So in the scheme of the company and his progress in the company and career advancement, in your opinion, going back to Canada is a step back?
Yeah, it'd definitely be a step back. The company has very specific levels for jobs and what they're designated as, and that job would be designated as at least a step or two below where he was in the company.
In November of 2016, and this is before this Christmas time conversation, in November, were you on a trip for the company where the defendant and Fabio were present?
Yes.
What was that trip for the company?
For the company is our annual recognition trip for the top performers in the company. And we as leaders, department leaders, would always go because we're there to give the official awards to our individual team members and ensure that they are I would say enjoying themselves and the fruits of their hard work as well. And we would encourage everybody to bring a spouse or significant other or a son or a daughter to these things as well. We wanted to really make it a family thing.
So during that event, then, was there social events such as dinners and things of that nature?
There was organized stuff, and then there was it was always designed to have some organized and lots of free time, because we didn't want to structure the employees. So here I am, I'm at a company work event again, and it was encouraged that people would stick together with their spouses or whoever they brought along to really not feel like they were working all day long.
Now, just during the work events, so the dinners, things of that nature, where it was the company, were you able to observe the interactions between Fabio and the defendant?
Yes. In particular, I was the MC of the final night, the awards night. So yes, I would have seen them there.
And how did they appear to interact with each other?
They appeared to interact, that evening. Great. The hotel, I actually called them both out from the mic and told the audience that this is the hotel where Monica and Fabio had their honeymoon when they were married and went to Hawaii. They danced up a storm, all night long.
While you were in Hawaii, then, did you and your wife then, was your wife with you?
Yes, she was.
Okay.
Yes.
Did you have any one-on-one interaction with the defendant and Fabio?
We did throughout, but the main night was when everybody was gone. We stayed on an extra night, and I believe they may have as well. And we had done something prior in Maui years before. We went out together as couples, just the four of us. Just everybody else is gone. The rest of the organization is gone as well. So now it's just us, and we are done. Fabio and I are done the work side of things.
And then did you go to dinner?
Yes, we did.
Okay, during that dinner, how was the interaction between the defendant and Fabio that you observed?
Very different than what I've experienced in the past.
How so?
It wasn't as social, it wasn't as interactive as we've had in the past or even the night before. Felt very cold, and it almost didn't happen because Fabio said, "I don't know if we're going to be able to pull this off, and that we were going to be able to make it." And said, "Well, we said, it's up to you." And then we finally did at the hotel, but it just seemed more cold and distant.
And is that something that you noticed prior to this case ever coming to light?
No, it was very unusual.
Okay.
For them, and I think overall it was more of an unusual trip as well. Other than the night of the awards night, it was like there they are on stage dancing up a storm, and it was, yeah.
So the night that you had dinner when the company's not there, there's no party.
Yeah.
Did their relationship appear different to you? Is what
Yes. That's what I was trying to say. It's very cold, different. It wasn't as social as it typically had been. Not a lot of laughter, and almost didn't happen.
Did you notice during this trip the defendant ever any of her actions?
Yeah, because there's a lot of downtime, as I said earlier, because the company didn't want to structure it. So we'd be sitting at the beach. Fabio would be with his group of educators or other managers as well, and Monica spent a lot of time walking the beach with their on the phone and with their I guess earpods in or whatever the string earphones would be in, back and forth, and it was just again less group interaction at that time.
The day of the actual murder, January 23rd, 2017, how did you hear about it?
I had just gotten home from work. I flew in that morning, went to work, and then probably left around 5:30 or so, and I lived across the street from the office, walking distance.
And what city is this again?
In Woodland Hills. Okay. And so I could see it, and so I just hightailed it home with the time zone changes, dead tired. And then my colleague, Bob Lucian, called me, may have been just after 6 or so, and he said, "Dave, you got to come back to the office." I said, "What do I need to come back for the office for? I just got home. It's been a long day." And said, "You got to come back to Sal's office." And I was still not understanding why. And then, because I wasn't responding right away, he said, "Fabio's dead. Come back. We got to go. You got to come, and we got to talk." And I went straight back to the office, to Sal's office, and Bob was already there. I think Henry eventually joined us as well. I know he was there when we left the office to go over to their place.
So you went with those other individuals?
Yeah, there was 4 of us.
To the Sementilli residence?
Yeah, it wasn't the residence. We didn't know what we were walking into because it was all taped off. We introduced ourselves to the officer where the yellow tape was, and he walked us up to a house across the street from the Sementilli residence.
Did you see the defendant that night then?
I did.
And how did she appear to you?
She appeared very distraught, a lot of heavy breathing, a lot of choppy words, and it was just shaking a lot.
Did you see any tears?
I don't recall seeing tears. Just a lot of, heavy breathing and trying to get words out.
Do you recall anything about a conversation with her that night when you walked up and first met her?
I remember giving her a hug. There's all kinds of people there, people behind her. There was the forest, and she hugged me back, and the only thing that I remember said, "I'm going to need your help with the company," and I said, "We're going to be, we're here to help you. Whatever we have to do, we're here," and that was about the extent of things that night.
Okay. Do you remember her saying anything to you about any requests for help that night?
Not as specific. There was, it kept saying I don't understand the company stuff, but it was like a very short conversation. But then we committed to coming back the next day, and then that's when we sat down.
The next day, then, you went back to, was it the Sementilli house?
To the Sementilli house, and the day was whatever after the house, and I think the morning had been cleaned after the I don't know, detectives or forensic people, whoever had been there, and when they were allowed back in, we went back to the house and went actually into the house.
So that was on the 24th of January?
I believe it was the 24th. That Tuesday seems to ring a bell. If that was the day that they were allowed back in, we, I think, came that afternoon.
Who did you go with to the house?
I thought Sal was there, likely Henry, and I don't recall who else.
When you went to the house, then did you sit down and have a chance to actually talk with the defendant?
I did on the living room couch.
While you're on the couch with the defendant, who's involved in the conversation?
At that point, I think it was just myself and her. I think of the group, I'd probably be the more well known because I'd known them for a longer period of time than others. So from what I recall, it was the two of us, and then other people hovered around the island, and other people came in, sat there for a while, moved away. Yes.
So did you had a conversation with the defendant?
I did.
Can you explain what occurred during that conversation?
So she said, Dave, we're going to need some help. I don't understand, the company stuff that Sal had, and insurance, stocks, and stuff like that. I don't know how we're going to survive financially.
Did she ask you about life insurance?
I believe it was life insurance that she said, because she definitely said the company insurance, because the company did have policy for executives and employees of, I think it was 2 times salary or something like that was available to us, and she was asking about the insurance and how, but she doesn't know the details about it or how to access it or who to talk to, and I said, well, Henry is the one that is going to look after pulling everything together, and that would include the stock plan that Fabio was in within the company and the new Cody programs, as well.
So is it fair that she was expressing to you that she didn't know anything about?
Yes, and she was going to need help where to locate it.
One moment, I'm sorry. Overruled.
Let me rephrase that and let me finish the question. Sorry, we don't talk over each other for the court reporter. I guess my question is, did she, was she, based on what you just testified to, was it basically she was telling you she didn't understand how the insurance and all that worked?
Yes.
Okay.
It can be very complicated because there's so many different components to the company programs and what he signed up for.
Did she appear to think that he had? Did she say to you that she knew about his life insurance and just didn't know how it worked?
Yeah, it was more that it didn't know how everything worked.
Okay. And
needed help to what all the things were.
Right, and then what happened?
I had said to her that we have somebody here, Henry. He will pull all that stuff together for you. I don't know what the details are specifically. I know the different elements, but I don't know what Fabio had. But it's Henry's role, and when he's ready, he will come back and walk you through everything.
Now, this being the day after the murder that occurred, did you ever go out on the patio where Fabio had been killed?
Yes. So at one point in that afternoon, Monica wanted to go have a smoke, and that would have been taking us out to the patio.
Did she show you the actual location?
Yes, she said, and here's where they killed Fabio.
Okay, and was there anything that you noticed about that location?
I mean, all the furniture was set back where it normally is. I really struggled being there. I tried not to look at his chair.
Objection, non-responsive.
It's overruled.
Because to me it was a very uncomfortable place to be and very, to me, odd. I didn't want to be there. In there was fine inside the house. I didn't want to be on the patio and be sitting across from where he would normally sit.
So the day after the murder, when she's showing you the chair where Fabio had been murdered, was she crying?
She was talking in chopped words, heavy breathing.
Did you see any tears?
No.
That chair, was there anything on the chair?
I don't recall there being anything on the chair that day. It was just an empty chair.
And did everything appear to be cleaned up?
Yes, everything seemed to be cleaned up. Around the whole house where we were, everything was sort of, clean.
And not to be too graphic, but you didn't see any blood outside?
I did not.
Okay,
No.
or inside?
No.
Was that the basis of your conversation with her that day, or was anything else of any significance that day?
That day, no.
Now, did you end up going back to the Sementilli residence?
I did.
When was that?
Probably a couple days later, maybe the Thursday. I think Henry, came as well, because the purpose is, Henry had an overview to share with Monica, and so I went over around that time. I don't know if we went in the same car, but we were definitely there for that purpose.
What do you mean an overview?
Henry's job was to pull together all of the components of Fabio's whatever stock options with the company, life insurance, any other. There was stuff, because he was a Canadian employee, as I was. The Canadian employees were on a different program before coming to the U.S. There was a different retirement program based there. All the value components that Henry was able to pull together. I didn't see them, but he had it on a spreadsheet to walk her through the details.
And this was then within the week of him being killed, is that correct?
Yes.
So were you present when Henry went over the benefits?
No, I went to talk to Monica first on the couch, and she said, she asked about the benefits and life insurance and stocks and stuff like that, and I said, well, that's what Henry is here for. He has everything ready for you to walk you through it. I know Fabio's sister Marital was there at the time. I can't remember if Monica's sister may have been there as well. And I said to her, so he's here ready to take you through all this. And she was, heavy breathing and distraught, I guess, and said, do you want Marital to come sit with you, while he walks you through that? Because, she didn't seem stable, I guess.
Okay.
To have somebody there with her as he walked her through the stuff, and she said no. And so I then walked over to Henry, and then they went off somewhere else in the house, and I don't know what happened from there.
Okay, and again, you said heavy breathing, things of that nature. You didn't describe any tears. Did you see any tears?
No.
Did you ever see the defendant crying with tears?
I wouldn't say with tears, but no.
You saw heavy breathing?
Heavy breathing, grasping, short words.
Okay.
Yeah.
Other than when you had the conversations with her about benefits, insurance, things of that nature, did she ever ask you for anything else?
No, she never asked me for anything else.
Did she ever ask you for any help relocating from the residence?
No.
Did she ever ask you for any help with security in her residence or upgrading the security?
No.
Did you attend then the wake that they had in the backyard on January 29th, 2017?
I did.
And when you went to that wake, did you go there with anybody?
And I showed up by myself. Most everyone there I would know. whether it be family that was there, employees, some of the stylist group, contractors, and so on. So I knew most everybody, and so I went and then gathered with people that I knew.
So at this point, you had known Fabio since 2006. 6. Okay. So how big was this group of people that was there?
It was quite large. It was like the patio side had lots of people there, all around the pool. The company had brought in, so all around the pool on the my right-hand side of the pool, there was lots of tables, people, and a catering group doing tacos.
Okay. Exhibit 9 is up on the screen. It's the backyard patio. Do you recognize that?
Yes, absolutely.
Oh, sorry. Exhibit 9, page 19, for the record. You go through the house and come out the back door to the patio then?
Yes, I did. That's the normal entrance, right? So through the kitchen, through that patio, and into the area. I've been there many times.
When you walk onto the patio, you came from the kitchen, which is the furthest window that just leads off the patio. When you came out through the patio, is that where all the people were congregated?
There's quite a few people congregated there, and then all the way to the back and all the way around the right-hand side.
Did you notice anything or someone that you didn't recognize?
Yes. I don't know who it was, but when I was walking through, I noticed someone, because most people there were people known to Lella, or was known to me, either close or not close. But I didn't stay very long because that's still an area that I was very uncomfortable being in. But I walked through. But I know when you see someone that you don't recognize, you sort of say, well, I wonder who that is. And then I just kept walking and then left that area and then did not go back to that area.
What's been marked as People's Exhibit 46. Did you see this person there?
I believe that's the person I saw because I remember a guy in a leather jacket.
Is that the person that stood out to you as someone you didn't recognize?
Yes.
Now, when you came out through the patio, I put Exhibit 9 back up, page 19, where was he at?
I thought he was sitting down on a couch in the patio, or the patio.
There's a patio.
With the chair on the other side. I thought he was sitting there as I walked through.
And that caught your attention?
Yeah, because again, everybody else, you're going through, you recognize people, and then you see someone that you don't recognize, but you say, well, I don't necessarily know everybody, but.
At the time that you saw him, did you see where the defendant was?
I don't recall.
Did you ever notice the defendant speaking with that individual?
No, because I stayed away from that area.
And then, if I may reference People's Exhibit 107, it's a photograph of an individual circled. It says Robert Baker at Wake. It's page, well, it has a 6 in the bottom left corner, but it's Exhibit 107 if I may mark it.
Yes.
Okay, just to orient then, there's an individual circle. Does that appear to be the same individual that you recognized in People's 46?
Yeah, so from the picture on the right where it's blown up, that looks more like the person I didn't recognize.
And then what's along the building right there? What was that, if you remember?
I don't know if there was food or drink in that area.
Okay, and then this chair right here, do you recognize that?
Yes, that was like Fabio's favorite chair where he'd sit and watch TV and talk whenever we gathered. That's usually where he sat.
And you had been there before and seen him sitting in that chair?
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Was that kind of known as his chair?
Yeah, it's his chair.
Okay. What were the items on the chair right there? I know that's a grainy photo, so going back to your own memory of that night.
I think there was what I recall, there was a picture of him. I don't recall because, again, as I walked by, I tried not to look at it. I can't remember I think the cigar I gave him the week before, because I know he loved cigars, may have been on that chair as well. But again, I did not look at it in detail because I felt very uncomfortable in that space.
If I may mark this People's 108, it's a photograph of a close-up of a chair with some items on it entitled Defendant Sementilli Shrine to Victim Fabio at Wake.
Yes.
Exhibit 108, from that night, is that what you recall being in the chair?
Yeah, it was a bunch of things, but the picture I remember. The picture stood out because that's what caught my eye of Fabio.
Okay, that's a picture of Fabio.
Yes.
Now what about up here, this...
Yeah, of course, the Big Daddy hair, because he wore that a lot. He took a lot of selfies on airplanes, with it. But yeah, that's...
Did you ever see an Instagram post by the defendant of this chair? If you recall?
Yes.
If I may mark this People's 109, it is a photograph of the chair with the Big Daddy hat, along with, to the right of it, Instagram business records.
Yes.
108, that chair, is that the chair?
That's the chair, and that's the cigar I gave him.
That's the cigar you gave him?
Yeah, I think that was the Cuban cigar I gave him.
Okay, and that's the same Big Daddy hat that you always saw him in?
Yeah. He wore that a lot.
After this wake, then, did you attend any of the other memorials for Fabio?
I attended the funeral in Toronto. I flew back for that funeral home and the church. Recalling the date of the company event with the tent. Outside of our Woodland Hills office, I attended that, but I didn't attend anything else in Canada other than the funeral home and the funeral.
After the memorials occurred, then did you continue to reach out to offer any assistance to the defendant?
I did I asked my wife Patty to reach out to her and say, whenever you come to town, reach out to Monica, and see if, get together with her for lunch, which she did the odd time, and then come mid-March, it just sort of stopped.
And what do you mean it stopped? On whose end?
When asked to, line something up with Monica, and she said, well, no, she said she was busy.
Go ahead.
So, and said, so Patty, did you get a hold of her? And said, no, she's not able to. She's going to Las Vegas with some girlfriends to get away from everything. And then I think there was another attempt maybe around May, and she just wasn't available, and so no. And she didn't reach back out to me at all for anything, because the people who could immediately help were on it.
Okay. Thank you very much. No more questions.
Rick Ross.
Good morning, Mr.
Good morning.
Diaz. You were interviewed in this case for the first time in March of 2021.
I don't recall the dates, but may have been in March 21.
Do you recall that it was several years after the arrest, Monica was arrested?
Yes.
Were you interviewed more than one time by the detectives or the prosecutors in this case?
I don't recall that I was, but I don't recall.
Okay. When you were interviewed by the detectives and the prosecutors at that time, would you say your memory, being only maybe 3 or 4 years after the arrest, was better than as you sit here today?
I think of the things that I spoke of, these things were very clear to me, very embedded in my mind, because they're very specific moments. I think the only thing would be the evening of when we went to see Monica. I mean, that was your mind isn't always clear because there was so much going on, but the key points are very clear to me.
Sure. You testified about some conversations with Fabio in the winter of 2016 about considering going back to Canada, right?
Yes, yes.
You didn't tell the detectives or the prosecutors about those conversations when you were first interviewed in this case in March of 21, is that right?
I believe I may have.
Okay. You didn't subsequently provide that information to the prosecutors or the detectives at a more recent time from today's date?
No, because it was all from the original conversation. I believe I provided that.
Okay. And with respect to the 2016 Trendsetters event, is it your testimony that you also relayed to the detectives and the prosecutors when you were interviewed in March of 2021 about this dinner with yourself, your wife, and the Sementillis that you described as not so social or interactive?
Yes.
And you described that dinner there was something about it that was cold. Can you provide a little bit more detail on that?
Yeah, just there's usually a lot more for us. Fabio's very gregarious as an individual. There'd be a lot of joking around. It just seemed to be a quick evening that didn't seem that either one of them wanted to be at.
Okay, so it didn't seem like Fabio or Monica were their normal selves.
Correct. Unlike when we were in Maui together.
And Maui was several years prior to 2016?
Correct.
And that was also a Trendsetters event?
Correct.
Did Fabio share with you in the months prior to him being killed that he needed to slow down on his travel schedule with work?
No, he never said that.
When you went to the home the week before January 23rd and Fabio showed you his Porsche, he was kind of showing it off to you because he was really proud of the car.
Yes.
And did you ever have any conversations with Monica about what Fabio told you?
No.
On the night of January 23rd, you had gone over to the Sementilli home and you had testified that you had seen Monica and you had given her a hug, given her situation, right? And that you said to her, we're all here to help, speaking on behalf of the company.
I did after she said, I'm going to need your help.
Okay, because I thought when you testified previously, you offered to her, we're here to help, and then you testified she made no request to you for any help that evening.
No, didn't make requests other than I'm going to need your help, right? And I said, we are all here to help you.
And you understood Monica, strike that. The next day, you testified that the next day you also went back to the Sementilli home.
Yes.
Did you do that on your own accord, or did anybody ask you to do that?
No, it was when we had a long night, and we agreed as a lead team that we would go back and again to figure out what help looked like and so on. And given that I had the longer relationship with the family, I was to go to her first. But I again believe that I didn't go alone. That Henry and a few others would have gone as well.
And you testified that when you spoke with Monica on the living room couch, just the two of you, that she was telling you that she doesn't know any of the details about the benefits and the life insurance and anything related to company and the employment benefits. Is that
Correct.
right?
Correct.
And you had actually told her not to worry, there's going to be somebody who can help you understand all of this.
Correct.
Because she didn't know what
Yeah,
all of this was.
that's what she said, what that was and what the life insurance was and how it worked and who to go to. That's what she asked.
And you understood from that conversation that she didn't know all of the things. I think that's what was.
Yeah, she didn't know the
words.
details of it. She knew that it seemed like she knew that it existed, but she didn't know the details and where to go for it.
Well, how do you know that why do you say it seemed like she knew it existed if she told you?
Because she
didn't
asked
understand?
me about when you bring up, the company life insurance and the stock stuff. I just don't know where to go for all that.
You have you're talking before the question's done. I understand you completely. But the reporter, as good as she is, going to take down one person at a time.
Okay.
You're going to leave. Counsel's going to leave, and I'm going to get nagged at for the rest of my life. So, do me a favor. Wait till counsel's done.
Okay.
Okay, so just to go back to that last question, I had asked you what made you said it seemed like she knew it existed, and can you just but let me rephrase the question.
Okay.
When you spoke with Monica on that living room
Yes.
couch, she
Yes.
told you that she didn't know what all the details were and she didn't understand what any of this stuff was that the company had, if anything.
No, she said specifically those items that I'd shared, but she didn't know how it all worked and who to contact or how to get the information on it.
And you took it upon yourself to get in touch with a gentleman by the name of Henry because you understood Henry would know all of those answers.
Yeah, Henry was already there, and yes, so Henry being the head of HR would have access to all that information, the details of it. I know the broad stuff of it, but I don't know Fabio's details because it's private.
Right. On that same day, you testified that you had gone outside at one point with Monica, and isn't it true that Sal Macheri also had gone outside with the two of you?
I believe Sal was as well. Yeah.
And am I correct that Sal Macheri actually sat down in that patio area?
Well, we all sat down in that patio area across from the chair, and maybe Monica had even sat in the chair, but we were taken out there because she wanted to go have a smoke and talk out there.
Didn't Sal Macheri sit in the actual chair when you guys went out on the patio that day?
I don't recall that he did.
Okay. When you went back a second time a couple days later with Henry Meyer so that Henry Meyer could provide an overview to Monica.
Yes.
And did you see, so at this point, you've only seen Monica a total of 3 times after January 23rd, including January 23rd.
That week, yes.
And did you see her at any point after this up until June of 2017?
We would have seen each other at the funeral, the event at our office. We came back on a weekend, I believe, with food from our education team as well. That we brought food over to their place as well. Yes.
Okay, and the prosecutor asked you a couple times about your observations of Monica and whether you had seen any actual crime. You remember?
Yes.
But you weren't with Monica that many times between January 23rd and the days and the weeks following every single day, right?
Not every day, but the days that I just respond to the days that I was with her that week.
Okay, so you can't speak to what was happening before you actually were physically with Monica.
Correct.
With respect to her emotional
correct.
state.
Only the points that I was with her.
And just to confirm, you also testified that Monica never asked you specifically for any help with anything other than the 2 conversations you've spoken about.
Correct. Only specifically on those items.
Okay. I have no further questions.
Room of other people.
Just briefly. The conversation that when the defendant told you she doesn't know anything about the benefits, did she tell you, and this is Exhibit 96, did she discuss with you at all that Fabio had actually sent her an email with multiple pages outlining all of the benefits?
No,
Did she ever discuss that coming from Cody and P&G?
no.
And in fact, on the last page is all the contact info. Do you recognize this kind of document?
Yeah, I recognize that kind of document, yes.
Okay, and that was sent through on May 17th, 2016 from her husband. Did she ever tell you that again then on October 4th, 2016? Once again, Fabio forwarded her the benefits breakdown to her email. Did she ever mention any of that?
No.
Okay. I have no more questions.
Anything further?
Just briefly, Mr. Diaz, what the prosecutor just showed you, you obviously have no idea whether or not Monica viewed either of those emails, right?
I wouldn't know.
Anything further?
Nothing further.
Thank you, sir, and you are excused. Let's take our morning recess for 15 minutes. The admonition applies. See you back here in 15.
All right. Excuse me. While they take their morning break, we will recap what we saw so far. So David Diaz was on the, well, first off was Jake Gibson, digital forensic investigator. I didn't even take any notes because that was just, sorry, that was a nothing burger for me. That just didn't really go anywhere for me. So David Diaz, he was the head of trade marketing at P&G. He was also the VP of sales. He met Fabio in 2006. Fabio was an independent contractor, and he educated, his role was basically to educate the industry. And then Mr. Diaz there talked about permanent employment to lead our education team. He taught Fabio the business side. There wasn't I'll just go through this. There wasn't too much new, but there were a few things, and I have a theory developing. So in 2010, he talked to Fabio about a promotion and moving to LA. So right now, Fabio is in Canada. He went to dinner with Fabio and Monica because Fabio said getting Monica on board would be very important because Monica is close to her family, sisters and parents. And then that was summer of 2010, so they moved in 2010, meaning Monica and Fabio moved to LA from Toronto. 2014, Mr. Diaz came back. Okay, so he saw Fabio the week before for lunch, and that's when Fabio showed him his Porsche, and he took him for a ride. He said they talked about the car, and then Monica wasn't happy because I didn't tell her I bought it, and this is when he talked about moving back to Canada. So here's my theory of, Fabio wants to move back to Canada. Maybe they were talking, and Monica's with Baker, and they're having by all accounts these two they're splitting apart. Fabio wants to move back. Monica's like, nope, I don't want to move back. Could that be motive? Possibly, right? So let's see. That was a private conversation. He did not have that in front of Monica. Then when they went to Hawaii, they had a company event in Hawaii, and they appeared to interact great. And this was the hotel that Fabio and Monica had actually honeymooned at. But then they went to a couple's dinner later, and the interaction wasn't as social. And Fabio even said wasn't sure if they were even going to show up. They appeared cold and distant. So again, we've heard this from several different people that at these events they were just growing apart. Drifting apart, growing apart, moving apart, whatever you guys want to call it, Fabio would be with his group of people, and then Monica would be on the beach, on her phone or whatever. Then the day of, his colleague Bob Lucian called him, said you got to come back to the office. So they went to Sal's office, he's the GM, I think. What was his name? Sal Machiri. He's the GM. He was the GM, so he was the main main supervisor, main guy. So they saw Monica that night. She appeared very distraught and was breathing, was like, we've heard that a couple times. Even Elise said that. He says he doesn't recall tears, but heavy breathing, trying to get the words out. He gave Monica a hug and said, and she said, I'm going to need your help with the company. He says, she says, I don't understand the company stuff. The next day, we went down to the house after law enforcement had cleared the house. He sat on the couch with Monica alone, and he talked. And she said, we're going to need some help. I need to understand the company stuff. The insurance, the stocks. And I posted in the chat, I'm like, I get it. She's got two daughters, 17 and 19. She's got to support them. I can understand her being nervous about money. She didn't work. As far as we know, she didn't work. She was, her full-time gig was taking care of the kids, and that's more than that's more than a full-time job. Monica wanted to go have a cigarette, so they went out to the patio. She showed him where Fabio was deleted. He said he struggled being there. He tried not to look at the chair. It was an uncomfortable place to be. She was talking in chopped words, but still didn't see any tears. I mean, I know everybody grieves differently. I don't know. I'm always, some people grieve differently. I'm not going to hold that against her too much, But everything was cleaned up. Didn't see any blood inside or out. I'm not going to hold that against her either. I mean, of course she's going to clean up. She's not going to But didn't she say she didn't clean her hands for till the next day? I think we heard that in a text message, I think. Came back with Henry, and Monica was asking about benefits and stocks. They never saw any tears, just the heavy breathing. And then he's at that memorial at the house. Robert was there. And a bunch of things were in the chair. And so Big Daddy, so we saw earlier, when they were at the funeral in Toronto, that they were wearing the Big Daddy hats. And because I thought it's because everybody called him Big Daddy. And that may very well be that everybody called him Big Daddy. But he actually wore that hat, Big Daddy. I didn't realize that. That's the first time we heard that he actually wore that hat that said Big Daddy. I thought that was just his nickname. Probably was, but I thought that was his nickname. And then they had these hats made in his honor. But he actually wore that hat. Then Cross came in, not really much there. Yeah, just not much there. Here was good with the redirect. Monica said she didn't know anything about the insurance, and yet she was shown 2 emails, and one I got was May 17th of 2016 showing his benefits. So thought that was interesting. All right. Widespread panic. I disagree. My daughters are 18 and 20, and there's not much to do with them. Both have jobs and pay their own bills. They still live and eat here, but there's less financial connection now. Yeah, I grew up in the household of by the time you're 18, get out. Yes, we were being supported, going to college or whatever, but we were not. And then, then here's the funny thing. Then I went to New York City, and I thought I was 20, right? Just about to turn 21. And I thought, oh my gosh, New York City, everybody's going to be living on their own. And, I was hanging out with people that were like 24, 25, 26, and they were still living with their parents. Laundry was still being done. Food was still in the refrigerator. And I was just like, what are you guys doing, man? You're like 24, 5, and you live in the best city in the world, and you're living with your parents. I just never got that because I was like kid in the candy store, man. I was bringing people home, and having parties and hanging out till 3 or 4. And I'm like, I couldn't do that with my parents. It was just really weird. So I wanted to be on my own when I was 18, 19, 20. Didn't want to be living with my family, my parents. But I do understand that she still had a responsibility, to these kids. So I think she still obviously was more about herself, but I can understand, given the situation, she would be nervous about money. So Shirley Roth says she had a job at 15. Baca of 3, she didn't homeschool these girls. Why not work? Yeah, fair enough. Pammy, she created this entire scenario. Zero There are F's from me, yep. Hey, Mona, keeping that chair seems creepy to me. I know. And then who cleaned it? Did she make, what was her name? Dahlia? Dahlia? She probably made her clean it. YB, have we lost the feed? No, we're just, no, they're on a break actually. Well, actually, we're like 10 minutes behind, so we can fast forward a little bit. Irish Amy, yeah, good theory. Thank you. Yeah, Krista, limited edition. Exactly. I was thinking that too. Cool. All right. Okay, let's go. Yeah, we're a few minutes because we started a little bit late. They actually started on time. Oh, you know what? Oh, yeah, we're only like a few minutes behind them, like 2 minutes behind them. All right, we'll get you back. Let's go back into the courtroom, back into the courtroom, so you don't miss a thing. All right, I'll see you guys on the other side.
Sementilli, defendants present, all counsel are present, jury, and
Court shall be the truth, the whole And for the record, say and spell your first and last name, please.
Marco, M-A-R-C-O, Lorenti, L-O-R-E-N-T-I.
Thank you. Sir, did you fly in from Toronto, Canada to testify?
Yes, I did.
And do you know somebody by the name of Marital Sementilli?
Yes, I do.
And is she your significant other?
Yes, she is.
Okay. And have the two of you been together since somewhere around 2008?
Yes.
All right. Through your relationship with Marital, did you meet her brother Fabio?
Yes, I did.
Showing you Exhibit 73. Do you recognize Fabio in this photograph with his kids?
I do.
And what was your relationship like with Fabio?
We had a very good relationship. Even after he moved, we spoke often.
Did you guys have a close relationship?
We did.
Almost like brothers?
Correct.
Did you and Fabio often discuss personal matters, family matters, things of that nature?
We did. We spoke of our children. We spoke of work, business, things of that nature.
Okay. You're Italian, he's Italian.
Correct.
Did you have a nickname that you used for Fabio?
Big Daddy?
Okay. Did you also refer to him as Fab?
I did. I had various guests there that I didn't know, sitting with her near the fire pit where Fab used to sit.
Okay. And its living room area, was that an area where other guests were also sitting?
No.
Where other guests were also sitting?
No.
So it was just the defendant with another individual?
With another gentleman, yes.
Okay. Did you know who that individual was?
I did not at the time.
Okay. Were the lights on or off in the living room area, as you recall?
They were on, but they weren't that dark.
I'm sorry?
It wasn't that lit up.
I see.
All right, the court feed's having an issue right now, guys. So just hang with me. This is not us. This is on them. All right, hold tight. I'm going to try and find another feed. Let's hold on, guys. This is actually the court feed. All right, hold on. Let me get another feed. They are having some problems right now. Yep. Yeah, so the original feed is having problems. So it's not us. Yep. So it's the feed. It's not us, guys. Just hang in there. Yeah, we can't blame our connection. This is those guys. Yeah, I'm still talking. I'm still here. Whoop, whoop, whoop. I'm still here. So it's not us. All right, so we're just going to stay here, and I'm on the original feed, and yep, everybody there is yelling at them too, so it's not us. We'll just stay here. YB just came in and said, yep. Excuse me. Yes. So let's... All right, well, so the person who's talking is Marco Lorent. He is the brother-in-law. He's married to Fabio's sister, and he just introduced Big Daddy to us. That's one of Fabio's nicknames. So Aaron found out there's an internet outage in the media room. So they're having issues at the courthouse. Yeah. All right, I suppose we could go back to this and just watch it spin. It's kind of where we're.
Oh,
that's the feed. That's where we are.
Because they're the same. I mean.
Oh, Moki, Trial TV Live has it, but sometimes stops to comment. Nice. So Moki is in another feed, and we just got called out by her. Yay! Thank you, Moki.
Are you in the source?
I'm in the source. Moki's calling us out.
That's funny. Oh, there you go.
Moki's calling us out.
Yeah, we have to comment.
So, yes. So we just wait. We just hang out. Hopefully they'll come back soon. I'm sure they're working on it. I'm sure they got their techs working on it. Yeah, if anybody from another feed wants to come in and join us here, we're just waiting for this feed to kick in.
Can you fast forward just a little, like with your space bar, like. No, I'm talking about in your browser,
No, it's dead.
I see. I see. I see.
So we're just waiting for the feed to kick in. So Pammy says, I'm sure that's a nickname from his kids. Yeah, that could be. Big Daddy. Seems like he was he lived life large, right? That we know for sure. He embraced life. He lived life large. So Big Daddy would be an appropriate name for him. Baka of 3. Oh, widespread. Yeah, kind of like they don't stop a football game when the channel broadcasting has difficulty. Oh, yeah, no, we're missing testimony for sure. Depending on how long they're going to be down for. Been down at least five minutes, I would say. Shirley Roth, he was a jolly guy. Yeah. Let's see, how long have they been down for? About 6 minutes now. They've been off. They've been down for about 6.5 minutes. Pammy, TYK, why are we stalled? Do you have any connections in Indiana? Oh, while we are stalled, do you have any connections in Indiana for therapists that deal in trauma therapy? I can email you if it would be better than to talk about it here. Yeah, Jeopardy. Oh, I could play music. There you go. I just have to remember to turn it off. All right. Pammy, email therapist you know. Hey, Mona, wasn't that Ferris victim's nickname too? Melanie Ferris? We didn't watch that, so I'm not sure. Not sure about that one. Sorry, Squeegee, taking advantage of the stall. No worries, Pammy. No worries. Power outage in the media room is what we're hearing. Oh, looks like they're back. I think they're back. Let's see if this kicks in. The original feed is back. Here we go. We're back. Oh no, shoot. Come on. All right, hang with me. It looks like they're back. Are they going to come back or not?
I have
we're
a
back.
text message dated May 29th from this witness to the defendant. May it be marked as People's 110.
Yes.
It has a number 1 in the left bottom corner. Showing you this text message. Do you recognize what you see here?
I do.
And is this a message that you sent from your phone on May 29th to the defendant's phone?
Yes, I recognize it. It's my message.
Okay. So you said to her that working on a very short and sweet note that you will send out to the authorities and insurance company. That's what you just testified to, correct?
Correct.
Understand that the insurance company have no obligation or liability toward you until they get a release by the authorities, and the authorities are still investigating and must have persons they suspect that must have known one or all 4 of you. If that's the case, they have the right to hold back until you 3 are all cleared. Hence, the notice will have limited teeth. Call you later.
Correct.
And at the bottom, it looks like it's timestamped 9/11 in the morning.
Yes.
Did you also draft
To her. And I said to her that you can modify it as you wish, use it if you want, do whatever you want with it.
Your Honor, I have this witness's letter.
Do whatever you want with it.
Your Honor, I have this witness's letter that was sent to the defendant the following day May 30th, 2017. May this document be marked as People's 111 and it has a number 2 in the bottom left corner.
So marked.
Thank you. Can you see this on your
So marked.
Thank you. Can you see this on your
So marked.
Thank you. Can you see this on your
Let me turn this. So we're monitoring the feed, and Drunky the Bear says it's drizzling in LA. We consider that severe weather, so of course the feed is wonky. Oh, let's see. It is gone again, I know. Yep. Sun just came out on the west side. Hey, Mona says. Very nice. Is that what the judge was talking about? Weather? You guys that live out there? I think yesterday, right? The judge was talking about wonky weather out there. Or he was talking about something, and is that what it is? Is it monsoon season? Is that happening now? Let me know. Drunky the Bear, we have both dark clouds and sun here in North Valley. Is this your monsoon season? Squeegee, protests were going on. Okay, that's what that was? Yeah. Hey, Mona, yes, rain is a hysterical problem in LA. It wasn't even big drops. You guys are funny. It's all relative, right? Atlanta gets 1/8 of an inch of snow and they freak out. Drunky the Bear, yes, it's what anywhere else would consider regular rain, but since it's rare here, everyone goes bananas. I can imagine that, right? I mean, it's so, yeah. Yes, Baka, I did see that. Well, if it's not one thing, it's another, right? Well, as I always say, you're only as good as your feed. So, in this case, it is not our feed, it is the original feed. I wish somebody else was carrying it. Well, if it's an outage in the media room, there's nothing else that can be done. And if it's coming from, see, the way these work, at least what I found out with Sarah Boone, is that you have a pool camera, right? And then they source the feed out to everybody. So if the media room is having an outage, having an issue, nobody's going to be covering this. local channels. I mean, everybody's going to be having the same issue. Freud would say, therapist, Freud would say, if it's not one thing, it's your mother. That's true. Drunky the Bear, I really need for Monica Tone found guilty. Oh, to be found, yeah. Drunky the Bear, we were talking about that earlier, like all this time invested. Here we are, day 9. It's probably going to be another 9 days, at least, right? What happens if it comes back to a verdict that we don't agree with? It's one thing if it's like 3, 4, 5 day trial, but when you got 30-day trial, oof, I don't know. For some reason, those always hit me stronger. Kathy Smith, it's all good. People need patience in these times. Curviel, hey Curviel, good to see you. Yeah, the Boswell trial is having media issues as well. Interesting. How odd is that? Somebody said, Katya said that day 2 they had issues. So we're going to pick up on day 2 afternoon tomorrow. And she said, Scott was having trouble. Everybody was having problems with Boswell yesterday. So Valeria, I will be back in around 30 minutes. Need to bring the dog out for a walk. Very nice. Enjoy. Be safe. Always fun to take pups out for a walk. Widespread panic. Good old Sarah. I watched a video last night about her new forever home. I felt sorry for her and every prisoner there when I watched. You felt sorry for her? Yeah. I can understand every prisoner there. But you had sympathy for Sarah? Oh, all right. Looks like they're back.
Accelerate.
Oh, it's choppy. All right.
She will tell you not she was on for it.
I understand it was almost every day.
I told you?
Yes.
Time is and tell you that she's taking trips to vacation. In June 2017, the week of July 9th, were you in New York City?
It was my stepdaughter's graduation, becoming a doctor.
Marital, daughter Vanessa?
Correct.
Okay. And did the defendant fly to New York to meet you and Marital and Vanessa and other members of the family?
She did.
And while you were in New York, did the defendant say anything to you about leaving the girl's home?
It's overruled.
It didn't start off like that. It started off her being upset because her and her sister kept calling her. They thought the girls were, because they were worried for the children.
Say, Your Honor, and it calls for speculation.
It's an admission from your client's mouth. It's overruled.
It's say, Your Honor, and it calls for speculation.
It's an admission from your client's mouth. It's overruled.
Go ahead.
The conversation wasn't with.
I'm sorry. It's overruled.
What did the defendant tell you about the conversations that she was having with her mother?
All right, so court feed is the feed from the court is still having issues. We are checking other feeds, but to be quite honest, if it's coming from the pool camera, there's nothing more that you can do. I mean, it is what it is. You're, it's the source. When the source, garbage in, garbage out, as they say, when the source is like this, there's really nothing you can do other than just wait it out. So, hey, Ken Rosenberg, good to see you. You actually drive like Mr. Magoo, really? All right, Drunky the Bear and Hey Mona, run down to the courthouse and hold up an extra antenna. And yes, Hey Mona, we'll be there on Monday. We're hoping we can maybe connect. That's what we're hoping and wishing for. Wouldn't it be great if the judge took a break? And or this was during the 16-minute reading yesterday. Hey Mona, too bad the feed didn't freeze during the 16-minute reading of evidence numbers. That would have been perfect. Therapist, we may be missing what's happening, but so is everyone else. Unless you're in the court. But that is so true, unless you're actually in the courtroom. We could watch Megan. Yeah, I'm not going to bounce off. I know we could, Baca, but I don't want to do that because this is a specific thumbnail, a specific description. If we were doing like trial watching like other feeds do, I would do that, but we are specifically hanging in here. Until this actually goes down and it crashes and is done, then we'll set up another feed for Megan. Good suggestion, but we are going to stick to this until the bitter end. They actually should be going to lunch pretty soon. It's 3 o'clock here. It's noon there, right? They should be going to lunch pretty soon. That's probably what the tech guys are hoping. Oh, please go to lunch. Please go to lunch. Yeah. No, it's cool, Baca. I know. I hear you. I know other creators do that, and that's fine. And personally, I don't know. That's just not what we do, but I understand the thought and the concept. Now, the bad thing is if we do bounce off of this, they don't have DVR on, so we'd have to wait till like tomorrow or Monday to replay this. So, at lunch, we could go back to Monica. Pick up on Megan. Pick up on Megan. I don't know. That just seems so confusing, So, yep, we'll hang here until I don't know, like how long do we wait? Yeah. Yeah, I guess I will head to the baby Evelyn trial. That's somebody in the other feed. You're here for whatever we choose. We need like a short log game for the cool Twitch kids. I'll leave that up to you, Ken. Do we know who Boswell's baby daddy is yet? No, maybe, but I'm not going to say it. I'm still going with Ethan. We were told that maybe he's not, so we're not quite sure.
Well, that is what the state said.
Yeah, that's what the state said. Drunky the Bear, that case from last name Devin Smith was really upsetting. That case from last name Devin Smith.
Last night.
Oh, last night. Devin Perkins, yes.
Do you want to update everybody?
Yeah, I guess for those that did watch Victoria Maxwell and Jimmy Doolin and Devin Perkins, we actually got an update from his mother, Victoria. At 12:58 p.m. today, she said the judge denied both motions this morning. So Devin Perkins' appeal was denied. So Jules said, what's next? And Victoria said, sentencing and pray for a downward departure. Don't have a date yet. Jules said, what can we do? And Victoria said, tell the world about his case. So, and Devin didn't even know about it yet. 1:14. So if you were watching Jules Investigates yesterday, we had on Victoria Maxwell, who is Devin Perkins's mother, and Jimmy Doolin, who is Alexandra or Allie Spice. That's her father. And Allie passed away in that car accident, and Devin's appeal was denied. So, yeah. I agree. Justice for Devin. Such a tragedy of justice. Something is wrong with that judge. Oh no, that's horrible. That was always going to be the result, I'm afraid. Dang, that's so wrong on so many levels. Wow, so sad. That's horrible, just awful. I know. You know what? I'm going to take screenshots of that. I'm going to send to her because it's absolutely terrible. Absolutely freaking terrible. So now he goes to appeals, right? That's his only chance now is the appeal. Oops. That's his only shot, and we all know what the appeals process is like.
You better be ready for
Oh.
that. Yeah.
All right. Should we end this and then pick up on Megan?
Ask chat.
And then, do you guys want us to end this and we could pick up on Megan and then come back to this tomorrow? What do you guys think? Judge overrule and take a break. Probably doesn't even know there are technical problems. No, judge doesn't care. Well, they did say the judge was really trying to get the lawyers to work something out. That's something to hang on to until sentencing. That's true. Y'all would have to come bail me out. Glad she's more level-headed than I am. I know. All right, here, we'll take a poll. Poll time. All right, new poll. Poll in the chat. What do you guys want to do? We'll give it a few minutes. It's 3 o'clock here. It's noon there. They probably are taking lunch soon. I'm going to answer just to get it going there. Whatever you decide, whatever you and Aaron decide. Yes, it's going to be lunch here in California anyway, so let's go to Megan. Megan the Gypsy. She's a Roma, right? Megan the Roma.
Romani.
Oh, I thought you said Roma. Romani?
Well, it's R-O-M-A-N-I.
Oh, it's a Romani, yeah. The Travelers. I'm here no matter what you guys choose.
All right, let's give it a few minutes.
Yeah, I agree with the lunch. I think it's going to be lunchtime. So we stopped with Megan. We stopped at their lunch, so we'd pick up the afternoon. So it would only be like 3 hours, which would put us at 6. I don't want to come back to this then. We could pick up on this.
Well,
God, this throws everything off.
They're going to be off next week. They're taking Monday and Tuesday. They're going to be there, but Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday they're going to be off.
I know.
This child's going to be off all next week.
That's true. Yeah, they're going to be off. Yeah, next. Aaron reminded me Monday. I'm sorry. They're going to be Monday and Tuesday, but Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then Monday they're off. Yeah. So we had this all planned, man. You know, it was, we were so planned. We were going to do this today. We were going to go to Megan Boswell tomorrow, and then we were going to do this Monday and Tuesday, and then they're off Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, so we would pick back up on Megan Boswell. Whichever you guys decide. Well, whichever you guys decide what you prefer, I will watch either. Voted. Come on, y'all, vote. We got 17 votes, 44 watching. Lunchtime in California. Wait, I thought those folks were really into having super clean houses. Oh, I have no idea. All right, we'll give it another few minutes. What's really funny is they'll probably come back from lunch. Or no, I'm sorry. The feed will kick back in, and then they'll go to lunch. Yeah. Oh, and what's really funny? Okay, I've got my notes, right? See my notes? So David Diaz, Mario is on the stand, and I got power outage in the media room because I write down band name suggestions. And Therapist, you know you had that one. So literally, power outage in the media room. That's in my notes now. Would you mind if we go back to Megan, just doing a little recap of what happened earlier today as I'm still catching up with the earlier Megan? All right, let's see. We got 17 votes. 59% say go to day 2. 41 say stay here. All right.
Just keep talking.
Give us a few minutes, and Aaron is going to set up a redirect. The Big Daddies for a band name. That's a good one too.
Well, I have to actually schedule it.
Yeah. No, it'll be about 5 minutes or so. So you get to hear me talk and blather on for 5 minutes or so. So Marco Lorent was on the stand, married to Fabio's sister, so obviously the brother-in-law. And we're missing all of his testimony. Oh my gosh, can you imagine if this was Austin or Baker? I would be like, I would not be happy. I would definitely be writing some letters, throwing some paper. Thank you, Ken. Shout out to you, Ken. What's wrong?
Opening up beta.
Oh, force quit? I do it all the time. The Big Daddies, the Crash Daddies. Oh, yeah, the Big Daddies. Dream of Landry, yeah, that would be crazy. I would definitely not be happy. I would be throwing my papers, my pens, my notebooks. I would be very, very unhappy.
I can't. It's doing what it usually does.
All right, I'll do it. I got it. All right. We are in day 2 of Megan Boswell, and we're going to be doing the afternoon session. Well, I say thank goodness we have multiple trials we can watch, right?
Yes.
That would be the only positive thing that's going to come out of this, is that we have multiple trials. All right, Megan, day 2, afternoon. Day 2, afternoon. Blink. All right. Megan to the Boswell. Huh?
I said they're
Yeah.
even stopped.
They're having serious issues over there. All right. Now I understand there's technical issues with Megan Boswell too, so we're gonna, no matter where we go, guys, we're gonna have problems. Yes, we will portal. Gina, yeah, I agree. We cannot miss Austin and Baker. Ken, yep. Sometimes you gotta dig for the silver linings. We will portal you guys over. Don't worry. Just hang on tight. Put your Put your seats and trays in their upright position. Make sure your seat belts are fastened. Put your trays and seat belts in their upright position.
Did you text it?
Did I say seat belts or seats? Put your trays and seats in their upright position. Make sure your seat belts are on. Securely fastened. The big daddies. He does look like a big daddy. As weird as that sounds. Fabio seemed like a really cool dude. How come the cool ones are always the ones that get deleted, right? How come it's never like some person who you're just like, so glad that they're they're gone. It's always the cool ones, right? Yeah. Yeah, well, you have a media or whatever, a power outage at the source, then that's a big issue. Somebody probably just kicked a cord or something.
Probably.
Some intern kicked a cord out, and they're running around trying to figure out what happened. Pammy says he really did, and Shirley Roth, jolly guy, happy all the time. We watched a couple of his videos. What was it, 2 days ago, 3 days ago? I pulled up some of his videos, and he was always just smiling and gregarious and full of life.
Yeah, he seemed like a nice guy.
Yep. Panic in the control room. Drunky the Bear, there you go. Panic in Detroit. There's a Christian band called Big Daddy Weave, Widespread Panic. I am not familiar with them.
Somebody in the source was saying, "Why is Sarah Boone filing a motion? Do you not know who Sarah is? Honestly."
Who else is broadcasting this trail? Nobody. You guys don't understand. Not you guys, not our chat, but other chats are saying, "Where else can we watch this? Where else can we watch it?" You can't. It's from the source, you guys. When the source is like this, that's just the way it is. Nothing anybody can do. Oh, I just realized that Super Ball unbuttoned my shirt.
Cool.
Pants. Here, we'll give you a Super Ball moment. Moment of Super Ball. Here's your moment of Zen. Moment of Super Ball. She's all ready for the afternoon sun. See, the sun's going to become creeping in soon. There's a moment of afternoon moment of Super Ball. Hands inside. Yep. All right. 19 of you have voted. 58 say go to day 2. 42% stay here. Ready for belly rubs? Yeah, so if I touched her right now, hey, Mona, I'd pull back a nub. If I reached for that belly, I'd pull back a nub. Baka of 3. I figured who Monica reminds me of, Ursula from Little Mermaid. Yeah, oh my God, she really does. That's really funny. Super Ball. You got your moment of Zen, moment of Super Ball. Shirley Roth, yes. Happy disposition. Hands inside. Dreama Landry. Put your seats and trays in their upright position. Make sure your seatbelts are securely fastened. All right, I shall end the poll and we shall portal over momentarily.
Yeah, it's ready to go.
We're gonna do the time warp. So it's just a jump to the left. Are we ready? All right, we're portaling over. Thank you for watching this abbreviated version of California versus Sementilli. We will pick up on this, don't worry. But overhead doors are closed, and it's just a jump to the left, right? Thank you.